Just some housekeeping. If you have any questions during the presentation, type them into the chat box and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation during the Q&A. We also have Taylor here on board. She's on our team and she has a ton of knowledge. So if you put your questions in chat, Taylor might also be helping you out, answering any questions. If you have any technical difficulties, reach out to Taylor and she might be able to help you also. So let's get started. Are new prospects not finding your business online? Are they not finding you online? Are you struggling to scale up because your business is only getting referrals? This is super important because I know from my own experience, years ago, before I was investing in marketing, I was, getting my work by referrals. Referrals are awesome. The thing that's hard is they're not very consistent and they can put you on a roller coaster where you get some big projects, and you're busy with those projects. You're not following up with people. You're not staying in front of people. And then you get done with that big project and then you don't have any work. And so then, that like those slow months eat up your revenue and can really put you on a roller coaster. Are you thinking your prospects are not searching online? I can tell you everybody is searching for services, doing research online, especially, after COVID, people are even more apt to be looking online. Would you like to improve your online presence so you can start getting found online? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I do get some pushback from some people like, oh, I don't want to do marketing or I don't want to get found online because I'm worried about getting overloaded. It is so much easier to let somebody know that you're full or put them on a waiting list or you're not interested in that type of project if you already are working with a whole bunch of your ideal clients. Right. So it is super important to be continually doing some type of marketing. If you're not able to, like, let's say you're just starting and you're not able to work with a marketing team. Your marketing team could be pounding the pavement, making calls, showing up to events, like, reaching out to people that you've already worked with to see if they have additional work, to see if they have referrals, offering them referral bonuses, like pounding the pavement or like working with a marketing team. But either way, it's super important to be continually marketing. If you haven't met us yet, we're Home Designer Marketing. I'm Deborah Scarpa. In the photo here is Ashley. She's our operations manager. We help interior designers completely transform their online brands to get found online, win their dream clients, work smarter by streamlining their processes. All of those things are super important. Like, you need to be found online. There's big jobs being found online. Also, like winning your dream clients, being positioned to bring in those higher end clients. We'll talk about that. Work smarter by streamlining your processes. There's only so much time in the day. And if you're not working, like, absolutely, like, you need to do everything you can to streamline your processes and work smarter. A lot of that is with software automations. That can be key. Our team guides your business to success with branding, websites, marketing, SEO, and improving your processes. It definitely, there's a lot that has to be done to move the needle, but they're all super important. you know, the whole design of like your brand. We need to make sure it looks professional. It doesn't look like you're doing it as a hobby. You need to make sure that, you know, you're optimizing everything for SEO so you get found. You need to make sure you have those processes set up so you're not working 24 hours a day and you can be more efficient. All those things are super important. And there's, you know, think about your marketing as constantly working on something. What is the biggest issue when you're looking at your business? What is the biggest issue? How can I, you know, which one is going to move the needle for you the most? That's where I, you know, think about focusing on what's going to move the needle the most. Here, we're super proud that our course is approved by NKBA. If you need to report your course, Taylor is going to put in chat the title, the instructor, the delivery method, the CEU amount, and we'll also, with the recording we'll send out an email afterwards that has a certificate for you. So, so you'll have all the information you need to report those and get those CEU credits. So let's go over today's agenda. So today's agenda is website audit, go over, you know, review like Google Business Profile audit, social media, online directories, really giving you more clarity on what things need to be done to move the needle. And Taylor will also put in chat a link to sign up for our free brand website and SEO audit. If you haven't taken advantage of that yet, definitely sign up for that. I really try to give you a lot of clarity on all these things, what's working, what's not working. Your prospects are searching online. We know this, you know, by the data. We also know this just by our clients that we're working with. So they are, like, we have clients getting big projects from them being found, you know, and somebody doing a search and finding them in Google Maps, and you know, bigger projects. So people are definitely searching online. If they're not like finding you through Google Maps or local SEO or social media, like even people that are referred to you are going to check you out online. So I like to think of this right here, 1, 2, 3, as the funnel that your prospect needs to go through in order to be an ideal client. So I'm going to walk you through each of the steps. So step 1 is the traffic. So maybe they come in through Google Maps or local SEO, social media, or like I said, referrals. That's step 1. Step 2 is your website. They're going to go to your website. Your website has a job. So think of its job as generating interest, building trust, and converting. So if your website isn't set up to generate interest, they're gonna like come here from, you know, they're gonna either find you in the maps or whatever, they're gonna pull up your website and they're just gonna close the tab because you haven't generated interest. Or maybe they look a little further, but then the website isn't building the trust that it needs. So you need all these things to be working to get here. The mistake that so many people make is they focus on driving the traffic, whether it's social media, you know, developing content, blog content, or whatever it is, or Google Maps, reviews, and all those things are really important to do. The mistake is that they focus on this first instead and don't pay attention to this. So everything needs to be working in order to get your ideal client. This needs to be addressed first, because what will happen if the website isn't generating interest, building trust, and converting, then the traffic is just going to come to the website and they're going to close the tab. You have about 3 to 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3. People have super short attention spans these days. We know that, right? Think about if you're looking for a restaurant and you're doing a search online and you pull up the restaurant's website and the photos look really bad and the website's super unorganized and messy. You might even think that that restaurant is going to be like messy and dirty and the food's not going to be good, right? And you're going to close that tab. So people are also looking at your services that way. So I just, through our software, our SEO software that we use, SEMrush, I just ran a report, and you can see like interior designers near me. There's over 22,000 people searching using, using that in like Google, doing a Google search. And that's super important, because if you're thinking, nobody ever finds me online, my ideal clients aren't online, and I'm not getting work online. Absolutely, there is work online. It's just maybe you're not getting them. Maybe they're bouncing, closing the tab when they get to your website. Maybe your Google business profile isn't like, optimized correctly with the right SEO keywords and stuff. And so you're not showing up. There's a lot of different things that can break in that funnel to make it so they don't, book a meeting with you. So again, like, think about your client's journey and just how everybody's searching for everything. They're typing into Google, interior designer near me, or interior designer, whatever location, or it could even be more specific, like maybe a kitchen interior designer or a remodel interior designer in the location. There's a lot of different keywords. Think of keywords as mini keywords. And some keywords are just, like interior designer, but then there's other keywords that are much more specific to the type of service they're looking for. Like, it's kind of like comparison of like looking for restaurant in Sacramento versus, or restaurant, like what type of restaurant am I looking for? A steak restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, an Italian restaurant, like, people are looking for being more specific in their keywords. And then, what they're going to do is they're going to review look at how many reviews the top, companies are that they're looking for. They're going to look at how many reviews in your location, and they're going to open those websites, and they're going to look at each of the websites for 3 to 10 seconds. Am I interested? Am I not interested? Right? So think about, like, if you were somebody searching online and you came to this website, you might think that she's doing it as a hobby. She hasn't done that many big jobs, and she's not going to be as professional. I don't trust this company that's going to deliver my larger project as much as I'm going to trust this one. I'm going to assume that this one is going to charge more than this company. So they're the same work, the same business, but how they're being perceived online by somebody that hasn't even had a conversation with you is like totally different. So, and what we find is that most designers are doing so much work, like they're doing work like this, but they're not communicating it online. So let's look at like a website audit, and I like to break up like the website audit into two sections. One is the brand positioning, kind of like we were looking at, you know, the look and feel of the whole website. You know, is it looking like it's like you're in business, you know, doing this as a hobby? Is it looking really professional and telling your story and really showcasing your services and your work? And then the other part that I'll also go over is like, you know, SEO and getting found online, and is it programmed correctly? So when we're looking at brand positioning, your website, you know, one of the key elements is your logo. So the logo also tells, like, you know, tells a story, gives people an impression of, are you doing this as a hobby or are you like a real professional business? So it builds trust. It tells a story. The design of it, the colors, and I'll show you some samples so you really get an idea. The typefaces, hierarchy of elements, you know, is the name easy to read even when it's smaller? Is everything screaming at me? Do I have like fonts that are competing with the mark? White space, name, and tagline, like they all need to work together. So I'm going to show you some samples. So this is some before and after. So this is the before, and this is the after. She did do a name change at the same time too. But see how the after has that more professional type of look and feel. Here's another one. This one is the before, this one is the after. So you see how like the negative space here and the design, and it's just competing, and it doesn't have that high-end beautiful look that this one has. Or here's another one, you know, where she just she didn't really have a logo, it was just type, and then having like a really pretty mark. You know, think about your clients, where they are spending their time. You know, this is a luxury service. So are they type of people going to nice restaurants, shopping at boutiques, going to nice hotels? Like that's the same look and feel that you want for your brand, no matter what type of style you are offering. Here again, you know, when I talked to this client, like her whole brand was this bright green, which she wasn't using at all in her work, and it totally clashed, and it was, you know, it was taking over. Like it just wasn't highlighting. The color was just so dominant that it wasn't letting her work shine. So these are so many things that help. Like when we're thinking of building a website, these are all the elements that we're looking at. So website design, the gut feel, like if I'm just scrolling down the home page, what is that feeling? Like, oh, this is super messy and everything's screaming at me? Or is it, wow, This is beautiful. I love this person's work. I want to work with them. You know, that's the feeling. Like, I don't care how much it costs. I want that. That's the kind of feeling you want. Photography, like professional photos, so important. If, you know, it's just like a restaurant. If you go to if you look at a website for a restaurant and they have photos that are looking, you know, not fresh and making the food look good, you're probably going to go somewhere else. The same is with your photography. You want it to be like a bright, shiny car, even if the lighting isn't like totally bright, but whatever your style is, but it needs to look professional. I want it to feel like, wow, I am in love with her work. I love that. If it is, you know, if you're not using professional photography, or you know, the thing that you don't want is a photo that looks like the person can do it themselves. Like, if it's not beautiful, you know, and it just looks like they can do it themselves, why should they be hiring you? So, and you don't have to take photos of every single project. Take photos of your best work. You know, I always was told years ago about showing my own portfolio ages ago that, like, you know, take out the work that is not your favorite, take those out. I mean, obviously, when you're working with clients, you have some clients that, you know, let you design like the best you possibly can. Sometimes you have challenging clients and you don't get to, you know, do everything that you want. Maybe that's not a photo that you want to show. Layout, you know, if the layout's messy, then it's going to make your work feel messy. Colors, if the colors are really bright and, you know, they need to show off your work, not dominate your work. Fonts, same thing. Make them have the same look and feel as your work. Website content, so copywriting is super important. And copywriting that, because what I find is that a lot of designers are out there offering so many like services. They're doing so much for their clients, but they're not communicating all the value that they're actually delivering in their marketing. So we need to take that information and let somebody know on the website, like, you know, what is included in your services? What are the processes? What makes you unique? Why should I buy that service from you versus somebody else? Portfolio, awards, press, like that can help build trust. About information, contact, all of that, all those items can definitely help build trust and get people to the next step. Call to actions. Having an online calendar, for example, can help get somebody on your calendar. And there's ways to, you know, make sure that you could only offer certain days or certain times, and the online calendars these days sync with other calendars, like if you're using a Google Calendar. So you still have a lot of control. You have 100% control over that calendar. But the advantage of having a calendar is it saves you tons of time. And also prospects are looking in, if they're busy working, they're looking in the evenings and on the weekends when you're not available. If somebody else has a calendar and you don't, there's a good chance that they're gonna book that appointment with them, and you might not even be able to have a conversation with them. There's multiple studies that say that the first person, like the first company that somebody talks to, has a much higher chance of getting that project versus somebody else if they're like the second or third person that they talk to. So having that calendar definitely can increase sales. Website user experience, navigation, you know, there's so many strategies in just the navigation of your website. Sometimes I find that websites don't even have like a contact page, you know, just simple things like that, or how the navigation is like organized. Responsiveness, like quality programming, security, all of those things are super important to your website. Let's look at a couple so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. So like here is the website before, and here is Linda's after, right? So if you came to this website, you would assume that, you know, you would have confidence that she could handle larger projects. You would assume she's charging more. You know, you would higher chance you would want to contact her here versus here, right? You don't have as much confidence that she can handle a bigger project, and you would assume that you are that she is not charging as much. So if you're, you know, somebody's finding a company online that's like this versus like this, it's a huge difference. They're going to contact this company versus the other one. And again, it doesn't matter what style of work you do. Here's another one, totally different style. That was her before, this is her after. Right, she's in New York City. Her work has a really like kind of moody type of feel. And so this is her style. Your website needs to tell your story. Also, you need to get the feeling. See how the design has the same feeling as her work here. We want it to have that same feeling, and I want them to come to the website and be like, wow, I am in love with this person's work. I want to work with them no matter what. See, if we had like unprofessional photos in here, you wouldn't get that same feeling. That's how important it is. And just having the copy and everything is so important. It takes multiple things working together in order to make your website and your online presence successful. Website audit and getting found. I get a lot of people, you know, SEO can be confusing. So I like to explain SEO as kind of like a library. You know, I don't know how old you guys are, but think about Google being like a library. It's robots or computers crawl through each website, like they read the code in the back end and indexes each page in its system, like based on how valuable the content is. So what happens is Google, its computers, so its robots, come through every single website and they actually read the code. They can't see any of the pictures. They read the code. When they're reading the code, if those keywords are programmed into the website correctly, then Google reads the page, and by looking at like a lot of the keywords and a lot of other factors, like, you know, is there valuable content on the page? Are people staying on the page? Are people scrolling all the way down to the bottom? You know, but based on those keywords that are programmed correctly into the website page, Google goes and files it in its library, like in the correct drawer. So when somebody types in those keywords, like for example, if it was kitchen interior designer Sacramento, which is a town close by me, then Google would say, okay, this is great content for, you know, kitchen interior, somebody looking for a kitchen interior designer like in Sacramento. So I'm going to file that in my cabinet, which is like indexing it. I'm going to file that in my drawer. And then when somebody does a search in Google searching for kitchen interior designer in Sacramento, I'm going to bring up that content. If there's no keywords, the keyword research wasn't done, if it doesn't have the right keywords, if it's not programmed into the website, then Google is going to have no idea where to file it. So when somebody comes and looks for it, it won't be there. Like it won't be brought up. Your content, your website will not be brought up when somebody's doing a search. So I hope that that is helpful. There's lots of different strategies on how to program keywords and SEO into the site, but I want you to just really understand how important that is. So when somebody comes to me and they're like, oh, I have a website and I just built it and they didn't do any SEO, and then now they want to start doing SEO, I'm like, oh man, like I just feel so bad for them, because I'm like, I know the website has to be completely reprogrammed. So if you're considering doing a website, number one thing you should be thinking about is, you know, one of the top things, SEO, those keywords, programming them into the website at the beginning. Otherwise, you basically have to rip the whole thing apart and start over. You know, you have to, like, there's so many areas where you're going to have to reprogram every single page, which is just as, you know, that costs just as much as building a whole new site. So just trying to make you aware of that this is super important to be programmed from the beginning. SEO and Google will not pull up your website when your ideal client is searching online if your website doesn't have keywords programmed into your website correctly. That's just what I was talking about, how it needs to be programmed correctly. So really figuring out what services you offer, you know, and picking the right keywords, writing copy using those keywords, and then programming it into the website correctly. And then doing ongoing kind of SEO. We have a policy every time we are doing any type of update to a website, we are always optimizing and thinking about SEO. So like no matter what it is, adding an image to a website, maybe you finished a project and we're adding an image. Absolutely, that could be optimized in many ways, you know, how the image is sized, so it loads, what keywords are being used. You know, there's just a lot of different ways to optimize all the content, you know, for SEO. So steps to like building SEO traffic. I know I talked about this. One, strategy, selecting the keywords your ideal clients are using to search online for your services. Number one. Two, programming. When building your website, program keywords into your content, into the website, optimize the website, you know, by programming them in, and then driving traffic. Consistently stay in front of your ideal client with valuable content. And when I say that, you know, it needs to be consistently programmed for SEO. And then absolutely, like if you are doing SEO constantly and developing content and you're doing a blog or you're adding things to your website, absolutely, like you need to be tracking those keywords. Are they moving up? You know, are you ranking for more keywords that you're trying to rank for because you know that they would attract your ideal client? Is your website traffic going up? Are you showing up more in the maps for different keywords? So something you might not realize is like Google Maps, there's the ability to rank for more than one keyword. You're not just ranking for interior designers. Maybe you want to rank for kitchen interior designers. You know, there's lots of more words that are more specific to just interior design. And they might be less competitive to rank for, which could bring in additional work. This one, you see here, this report here is from our SEO tool, SEMrush, and you can see the difference here between no monthly content. So the client is down here compared to its competition. And this one like up here with monthly content. You could see these are actual reports from some of our clients. I don't say who for obvious reasons, but you know, you could see the jump here. If you didn't build it in correctly the first time and you're trying to do SEO on a website that's already existing, it just, those first few months you really kind of lose because you're rebuilding stuff that should have been built in, should have been built the first time. Also, just to understand like SEO tasks, this is just like from our SEO team, this is just like a short list of all the things that are done, but I made this for you guys so you would understand like how many things on the list, because when you're trying to understand what is SEO and what is actually done, that's why it's so confusing, because there's actually a huge list of things that are done, and whether it's strategy or work that's done programming the website, like all these things, or building backlinks, or optimizing like your keywords and everything, optimizing Google, and then doing that like monthly reporting. So there's a lot of different things. That's why like you can work on SEO and do a little bit every month. You could actually work on SEO and really step on the gas and, really invest in SEO to really move the needle. A lot of SEO, if you're wondering the difference in like a lot of the SEO companies and how much they are, charging. Some SEO companies just build like what's called backlinks and citation building. All these things are important. This is definitely like the least expensive option by far. Like if you're building a backlink, like a backlink would be like let's say the Better Business Bureau, right? That would be building a backlink, adding your keywords, your information into there. That would be a backlink. Other SEO like services offer content where you're writing content every month, like a blog. You're actually strategically picking the keywords, and then you're programming in the keywords into the content, and you're consistently doing that like on your website. Absolutely, like Google is ranking websites with content that's optimized for SEO if it's done correctly, like so much more than backlinks. Backlinks are important, but think about Google's job. Google's job is when somebody is searching, like think of somebody searching as being Google's client, like somebody searching online, Google's job is to bring up the best content possible to that person. So if I'm looking for a restaurant or an interior designer in Google, and Google is not giving me the results, I might go to Yahoo and use, or Safari, right? I might go to Safari and use Safari to do a search instead of Google. So Google's #1 job is to deliver valuable content. And if you're developing valuable content and optimizing it with the keywords so Google can read it, then like there's a much higher chance that Google's going to bring up your website. So I hope that helps you understand like the different types. Content development is more of an investment than building backlinks. So if you're, get like an email from an SEO company and they're like, oh, I can do SEO for, $50 a month, I'm just making a joke there, they're definitely not spending time with you developing high-end content and optimizing it for keywords and doing reporting. They're just building some like backlinks for you. So I hope that helps give you some clarity on that. Google Business Profile audit. Google Business Profile is more important than ever. Marketing is always changing, so we always have to, keep our eye on what is happening today. But Google Business Profile is this right here. So if you don't have one, you're not going to show up in Google Maps. You can't get Google reviews. So this is super important, and optimizing this is super important. Again, I went over this, how people are, I put this in here twice because I just wanted you to understand, like, you have to have one of these to show up here in the maps, to get the reviews, to, get listed. Absolutely. That's how important it is. It can be a little tricky to set up, if you're stuck, like setting it up, get help. I know we help clients with that kind of stuff. Like stay in your superpower, get help, because Google, I know, doesn't make it super easy. Social media audit. So social media, your profile and your bio, like how are you communicating what you do? Do you have a professional photo? Does your bio tell the right story? Is it attracting your ideal client, letting your ideal client know that you're a good fit for them? Social media photography. Think about like your Instagram page. I want to scroll down that page and I want the same feeling like, wow, I'm in love with this person's work. I'm in love with this person. If I'm scrolling down and I'm seeing like kind of clip art graphics like screaming at me and it's really messy and the photos aren't professional, I'm probably not going to contact that person. Because I'm looking for somebody who lives and breathes like interior design. I want somebody who takes care of details. So social media content and hashtags, that's also another way to, people can do a search. So think about what type of content you're posting, how often you're posting, what hashtags you're using. Are you using the right hashtags? Are they ones that your ideal clients are using? Are you posting stories and videos? Are you making personal posts? If so, how many? What are they about? I know that I was just talking to somebody recently and they were getting a lot of people like responding to their personal posts, which there's nothing wrong with that. But then it made me think like, are the people following her, like her ideal clients, or are they like personal friends? You can set up like for a lot of social media profiles, you can set up a business page versus a personal page, or you can run your personal page as your business. There's a lot of different strategies to how to do it. Are you sharing, blog posts, trends, projects, online directories, and audit? So online directories are super important. They are an SEO ranking factor. Like if your company information is different all over the internet, it confuses Google, and Google will think that you're confusing and won't rank you. So it is super important that online presence, that the business name, address, phone number, even if you don't want your address out there, it could be even, the city that you work in, phone number, services, website address, social media links, company description, whatever the information is that you want out there, and needs to be consistent. And it is definitely a ranking factor for SEO. So one of the things that you can do is do an online search for your company, like search for past company names or your name or addresses, phone numbers, emails, do a search and see what comes up. And, those need to be consistent. And here, I just want to review this with you one more time about how this is the funnel. And the traffic, we went over some strategies for traffic. The traffic is super important. Your website is also super important. Like somebody coming through needs to, whether they're like find you Google Maps, local SEO, which is just maybe the content that your website coming up like after the maps, social media, referrals, they're going to come to your website. Like, does it have that professional look and feel? Like, is it going to generate interest? Are you going to lose them right here in like 3 seconds, or are they going to like be interested? And then as they're scrolling through, you want your website to build trust and then convert, because these days you might not have an opportunity to even have a conversation. I know I talked to somebody, this was quite a few years ago, and they didn't think their website mattered, and their homepage was a mess, and they did beautiful work, but they just thought, oh, well, you know, once they see their work, then they would want to work with them. The problem is, in 3 seconds right here, maybe 10 seconds, like they're never going to see the work. If they come to this, your homepage or whatever page they come in on, and it is not looking professional and really having that look and feel and building trust, then they're going to close the tab. So generate interest, build trust, convert to get that qualified, like ideal client type of lead. I know we went over a lot of information today. I hope you learned a lot. Definitely, if you haven't already, sign up for our free brand website SEO audit. Taylor has that there in the chat. And thank you so much for joining us. And then I have a couple of minutes that I can answer any of your questions. If you have questions, you are welcome. I hope this information was super helpful, and feel free to even come off mic if you have a question.
You do website designs, Debbie?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So the first step is, do you have a current website?
Yes, but it's not good.
Okay. Yes. So sign up for the audit, click
Okay.
on that link, and once you fill out that form, it'll prompt you to schedule a meeting with me.
Okay, I will
And
do that.
then, yeah, definitely, because I love educating people, giving them clarity on what needs to change.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I will definitely do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Love to help you out. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you, everybody, again for joining us, and look forward to talking with you, Teresa, and have a great day, everybody.
Thanks again.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.